everybody. Today is our sixth class on emotional management for teenagers. It's actually a yoga program. It's a yoga for teenagers, and the purpose is to help them manage their emotions in a better way. And so,
there's some shadow on the phone camera.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And we have talked about many different things, and actually the idea is that if children have better self-management, they can make better decisions, and this way we can prevent violence, we can prevent misbehavior, we can prevent addiction. So actually, this program is quite important. And we have talked about this before, and we have mentioned before that out of, I think, every 7 children, one teenagers, one has mental health problems, and sexual abuse happens to 5, out of 5, one will get serious abuse. So helping teenagers manage their mind is something that is very important, personal level, also on a social level. And so governments all over the world spend money on programs, but when you look at these programs, they actually don't take the same approach as what we are doing here. And what we are doing here is to help teenagers take a new look at themselves. And so actually we call it, Professor Wilson calls that redirect. We help children redirect their own thinking about themselves, who they are, what they should do, and how they should behave. And so they get a new vision, a new angle on their own. So we have mentioned before that this kind of program for teenagers can be done as a summer camp, a winter camp. Ideally, it should be a regular program for 1 or 2 years. And this way, you really can steadily help children develop a different way of self-analysis. Now, we have talked about the 3 aspects. We said one side of management is the biopsychology side, so the yoga asanas. Now here online we didn't talk much about this. I trust most of you know how to do yoga with so apply your own experience in this area. The second we have talked about is meditation, and here we introduced love for all meditation. And this last week we talked more detail about special place, special friend, and gifts of the heart. And so if you want to help children deepen their meditation, maybe this is a good way. And then the third aspect is understanding our own thoughts. And so this program has 3 aspects, and they're connected. And so actually you cannot really separate. You can, of course, you do the asanas, it's beneficial. You do only the meditation or the quiet time, it's beneficial. And you only do the talking and discussion, it's also good. But if 3 combine, actually you create a perfect, a balanced approach. Now we have been talking about the mind in quite detail, and we have talked about different layers of the mind, and here we call them the earth personality, which is foundational, the water personality, which is the social, and so this is our support group, our family, and our friends, our community, our country. The third one is about our independent development as our career, the fire personality. Then we have talked about the air. The air personality represents, and the water personality is who I am. Here you explore who the other is. You make connection with other people. You plan for the future. You open up to more possibilities. And so there we focus very much on the future and how to get there. So hope. Then last week we talked about the space aspect of the personality. And here is when we connect with our cosmic identity. And the cosmic identity is not centered on the ego. It is, we become free from our narrow thinking. Now, actually, all of these personalities interconnect, okay? So don't see them as one piece, but so we all can develop our independence and also develop our cosmic identity. And so it's not something like you have to go to the Himalayas to really realize this level. It is something we can do simultaneously. As we grow as a person, each and every aspect of our life can expand. Now today we are going to talk about the mind, the pure mind. And so this is the last layer of the mind that we are exploring. And because this is the last layer, we're also going to today to review all the previous emotions. Okay, so in the teacher's resource, I did it in much detail, but today online we will do it more economically, and I hope everybody can prepare pen and paper to do that. Okay, so when you look at the pure mind, there are only two expressions, and one is the king, and the king represents worldly knowledge, and the other aspect is represented by the sage, and the sage is has only the spiritual knowledge. So there's only spiritual longing. In Sanskrit we call para and apara. And so here is a person who is realized and capable and can guide the society, and here is the person who only wants spirituality. Now, I know everybody likes stories, so we're going to tell a story. And this story is about King Janaka. And King Janaka, he lived in a palace, he had his land, and he was a good king. Now, at the same time, there was a sannyasi, a monk. And the monk's teacher said, go to King Janaka and learn from him. And the monk said, teacher, what can I learn from the king? The king is a worldly person. And so he assumed that the king is only a leader for the society. And so this guru, this master, told his disciple, go to King Janaka and you will learn from him. So he went there, and the king Janaka was very nice to him, and he was very hospitable and gave him much time. So he stayed there for some time, and he was wondering, why did my master send me here? Now one day there came the army of another king and attacked King Janaka's city. And there was a lot of fighting going on, and a lot of fire, and a lot of noise, a lot of crying. And then this monk, he said, oh no, the place is burning. I put my clothes for drying on the roof. I have to go and check my clothes. So he rushed up to the roof of the palace to check on his clothes because he was worried. And there he saw King Janaka on the roof. And he was watching how his soldiers were fighting the soldiers of the enemy. And he saw that the king was watching how these enemy soldiers were burning the houses and burning the schools and destroying the city. And this monk saw that King Janaka was totally balanced. He didn't lose his mind. He didn't show tears. He didn't show fear. He didn't show anger. He didn't show any emotion. And then this disciple, he learned his lesson. He saw that this king, he had both qualities. He was the king and he was a spiritual saint. He was able to manage his country, and at the same time, he could keep his own mind free from all these attachments. And at the same time, this disciple saw that he himself was worried about losing his clothes, and that's why he rushed, emotionally rushed upstairs. So I tell this story because in this story you see both aspects. And you see one side, he is the king, he has to lead his army, and he has to protect his country. And the other side, he is free from all attachments and all these responsibilities. He can maintain his balance. So in Western psychology, the closest thing that you can compare this to is self-actualization. Abraham Maslow has this pyramid, the pyramid of needs. And the pyramids, I think, starts with physical security, then social security, then he has something like achievement, and then love, and then I think that's how it simply his pyramid of needs. So a person grows from physical needs to social acceptance, from social acceptance to an independence, and from independence he grows his dream, and from the dream he becomes self-actualized. It's very similar to this model of yoga of the mind. And so self-actualization in Abraham Maslow, in Chinese I think it's called Maslow, and he's very famous. I think many people know him. So the higher state of mind is self-actualization in his concept. And so in this way, you can link what we are talking about, this model, and the transpersonal psychology of Abraham Maslow. Maslow is M-A-S-L-O-W. M-A-S-L-O-V or W? I think it's V maybe. Maslow, yeah, probably. Okay, Maslow, Abraham Maslow. And so self-actualization is something in Western psychology comes very similar to what we would call para apara, the king and the sage. And so here, actually, though we talk about two qualities, usually they come together. And so you see people like who are very great personalities in society, like Einstein. Maybe he could be called self-actualized in many ways. In Western psychology, they look at people like Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, as somebody who is an example of self-actualization. And so Western psychology, you have different people, they are then supposed to be self-actualized. A person who's self-actualized is he can totally connect to his vision, and he can act out his vision, can make his vision his life. And in yoga we say the person, whatever he thinks, he speaks, and whatever he speaks, he does. Okay, and so this is a very simple, actually very simple way. What is yoga? And then you say, oh, yoga means whatever you think, you say, and whatever you say, you do. It's as simple as that. And so a person who is on this, more on this level, is not affected by disturbances of the other emotions. Okay. Now, of course, and we all know that maybe people like Einstein or maybe Schweitzer, and Albert Schweitzer, he is also considered a person who has self-actualized. And they are, in their own way, they are very much into their mission, but they, as a human, they are also human beings. So it doesn't mean that they are totally free from anger or fear or greed. Or some level there may be some interference, but much of their person was self-actualized. And so this is actually the first step to greatness, you can say, and to bring our awareness up to this mental level, higher mental level. And so that's the first step. Now, I wanted to do a simple review with you. If you look at your resources, I sent you, and I have to apologize, there is a mistake. If you check, there is a chart. And if you look at the chart, there are figures, numbers up to 50 on the vertical, and on the horizontal, there you see earth, water, fire, air, space, and pure mind. Okay, so now I want to ask you, we are going to review. And if you have pen and paper ready, and we're going to go a little fast, we want to review in our own life how important are different emotions, and we want to analyze and we want to write it down in the chart. Okay, so if you cannot follow, please tell me. So, for example, the earth qualities has 4 emotions, 4 propensities, and the first one is physical longing. So if it's important for you, then you write down 4. If it's not so important, 3. If it's almost not important, 2. If it's little important, 1. And if it's not important, you put 0. Okay? So don't think too much. Okay, so physical longing. So please write down what is your score for this one. Okay, so if physical longing you're high, you write 4. If it's very little or no, it's 0, and then you have 1, 2, 3 in between. Okay, so for those of you who have just joined, like Vivian, we need pen and paper. And so I don't know if I can continue, but I hope you are ready. And so the first step is physical longing. Write down your number, your score, between 0 and 4. Okay, so if it's low, it's 0 or 1 or 2. If it's high, 3 or 4. Okay, the second one is your mental longing. So here you like to study, you like to learn, and you really spend much time to read books If it's very high, again, 3 or 4. If it's low, 0 to 1, 1 or 2. Now the third one is helping others and psycho-spiritual longing. So here you want to help others, you want to make the world a better place, you have an ideal. Again, give yourself a score, 0 to 4. And the fourth one is your spiritual longing. So here, your dream is total surrender to your pure self. You want to totally let go of all attachments. You are not running after comforts and luxuries. You only really want to know who you are and explore your deepest self and let go of all bondages. Okay, so 4 cards, and now add up your score. Okay, so add up the 4 for the physical, the mental, the psycho, spiritual, and spiritual. So add up your score. Now here I make a mistake, and this one we multiply by 1 second. Okay, multiply it by 3. Okay, so this score you have now, add up the score for the 4 cards and multiply it by 3 and write in your chart the total. Okay, so this is the earth layer. Now we are going to the water, means the second layer of our mind. And if you remember properly, here the emotions are expressed in the way we deal with our social hurts. And so if the people around us hurt us, how do we deal with it? And again, if you have a high score, 4, if you're low, then you make it 0 or 1. And so let's say people hurt you. How does it affect you? Do you suppress it? And the first one is actually suppression. And so you get hurt, but you don't want to deal with it. You know it's there, but you ignore it. Okay, so give yourself a score. And so are you kind of person who keeps things inside and tries to push them away? Or can you deal with it? The second one is, when you get hurt, does it block you? And does it block you means you don't know how to, you know you're hurt, but you are not able, you have no strength to manage your pain. And so if the people near to you are, they blame you for something, do you shut down and you just hide in a corner, and then you think about it, but you don't know how to get rid of this pain? And this is the second one. The third one is, okay, you get hurt, you don't know how to deal with it, but you go eat chocolate or go shopping or eat 10 hamburgers. I don't know what is your guilty pleasure. And you just try to comfort yourself with something external, okay? Addiction. Now the fourth one is people hurt you, they blame you, and you blame yourself, and you lose confidence. Okay, so here people around you give you bad feedback, and you really take it personal, and it really lowers your self-esteem, and you become a prisoner. You lack your confidence. The next one is people say something hurtful, and you come to see the whole world as bad. You become paranoia. And so if people hurt you, do you come to see the whole world as negative? Give yourself a score. Okay. And the last one is people hurt you, and you hurt yourself or you hurt others. And do you become violent? Can you become aggressive and maybe physically hurt people, or maybe you bang your head against the wall, or you scratch yourself or cut your skin or beat yourself. And this is the violence, cruelty. Okay. So again, you have 6 scores if it's right, and add it up, and this one multiply by 2 and add to your chart. Okay. So you get your total multiplied by 2, and so this way all become even. Okay. Am I going too fast, Annie? You can keep up. You're okay? All right. So this is, when we do this with the children, for every emotion, I have made 5 questions. And you can use the 5 questions to assess. And so it's not like what we're doing now. But anyway, I think it's interesting. And yeah, let's see the process, okay? Now, so we have done the foundation person, we have done the water person, means the social. Now we come to the fire person, means our sense of independence and how we grow as a person on our own. And so so here is your group controls you, here you have no control, here the group controls, and here in the fire person, you control yourself. You are a self-made person. Okay, so we become independent. Now we have already discussed before that when we set the water person is others hurt us, here we hurt ourselves. We don't meet our own expectations. And so the first one is shame. And so we are a loser and we don't do a job good enough according to our standards, and we look at ourselves as a loser. So let's say you do your career and you're not successful. Do you see yourself as a loser? Or do you say, well, maybe the market is the situation today, the market is not good? Or like when we'll see, are you going, like this one, you blame others. And so here, the first one is, do you blame yourself? And do you really feel you are not good enough? And so if you are not successful, do you feel it is your fault? Now the second one, emotion here, is we blame others. And so we talk about other people and we tell them they are wrong. And we talk about them in very bad way. And so here we deflect blame for ourselves and we blame other people. Again, give yourself a score. Do you have this kind of tendency or not? Now here, the next one is, okay, you are not successful, and so you not mature enough, you easily get drift away and follow other people, blind attachment. And so let's say your business is not doing well, or your studies are not doing well, and then people say, oh, you should take this vitamin, then you will become very smart, or you should go to that temple and pray and then follow that one, or you should, you follow and just whatever people feel and you follow blindly. Means you have no principle. Give yourself a score. And so are you easy to to change, be changeable. So next one is sadness. Okay, so you're not successful and you become depressed. And does this affect you very much, or can you keep yourself balanced? Okay. Next one is you're stuck. So you're not moving forward very well, and you become a slacker, and you're confused. You have 100 questions and 1,000 answers, and you don't know which one to choose, and you are confused with your life. You don't know which way to go. Okay, so you do your job, but actually it's more like a machine, and you have no more vision and you have no more direction. Give yourself a score, okay? The next one is jealousy and resentment. So here, you feel others do better than you, and you become negative about it, and you feel resentment. And so if you feel that this affects you, give yourself a high score. So let's say your shop has no business, the other shop is doing very well, you become very jealous, and you kind of, jealousy becomes like you want to hurt the other person. It's a little bit extreme. The next one is fear, and so you're not moving forward. Your business is not growing, and you feel anxiety, and you feel you're fearful to move ahead. And are you fearful, or can you become courageous? And so, if you're fearful, give yourself a high score. If you are weak on that, if you lack this warrior mentality, then give yourself a low score. Or no, if you're fearful, high score, and if you are strong, low score. Okay, next one. You're not doing very well, and you keep on doing what you have been doing. You work more and more and more. You become a workaholic. Okay, so this is your this reaction to your situation. Okay, here, revenge and hatred. So here again, and this is very violent, and your hatred takes you to a level that you actually want to destroy somebody or something. And so this is a big source of anger. And the last one is you become irritable and want to hurt other people. So give yourself a score, then add it up. Now for this total, you have to multiply by 1.2. Okay, so this total you multiply by 1.2. So don't look at the figure I gave you in the resource. Here, please multiply by 1.2 and add that to your chart.
Dr. Mohan, number 9 and number 10, what's the difference?
Number 9, you mean these last two cards?
Yeah.
Hatred.
Oh, revenge.
Hatred is aggressive and becomes actually physical. And in Western psychology, people look at this and they say it is the sentiment is you want somebody to maybe die. You're this very aggressive and very harmful. Peevishness is just you become irritable and you become pity baza, and just you become upset. And you want to. Okay, so the subtotal here multiplied by 1.2. Okay. So far we have done 3 layers of the mind, and we're moving to the fourth layer, which is the heart. And here we have the biggest emotion and the propensity is hope. So for hope, what is your score? High hope 4, low hope 0 or 1 or 2. Okay? So if you are easily inspired to do something and make a better world for your children or for other children or for animals, nature, if you are inspired by that, give yourself a high score. Now the second propensity here, the second tendency is you overthink, you anguish, and you think a lot. And so your mind reviews all the time. How should I go about it? Am I doing it the right way or not? And in Sanskrit we call chinta. And so the worry word. If you worry easily about your work and about your ideal and about your children, then you give yourself a high score. If you don't worry that much, then low. Okay, empathy. So here you have, this we call mamata. Here I translate as empathy, and so you love somebody, but you love because you hope that person loves you too. And so it is, it's kind of a business relationship, a love business relation. And so you care for me, I care for you. I care for you, you care for me. It is affection. Then you work hard. You put a lot of effort and sacrifice. And actually I would call this more sacrifice. And so like you want to get the coconuts, you climb the tree. It's a hard job, but you know you really want to achieve your goal. So if you really can put a lot of effort in what you want to do for others, give yourself a high score. Well, here also is argumentation, vitarka. So here you try to influence how other people think. And so, like in the picture, this making a path, and you're making a path for people to follow. So you want to convince other people that what you're doing is right and they should do the same, and you want them to, and it's for good reasons. It's a good intention. It's not to brainwash. It's just part of our human nature that we want others to follow what we believe in. Here is regret. And so here you have done something and you look at it and you feel bad about it. And you've asked for forgiveness. And maybe you did something in an impulsive way, and the other part of yourself then already feels sorry. If you easily feel you can be impulsive and do wrong, then give yourself a high score. Here is you do your dream, but you still have needs, and you want to fulfill your own needs more than other people's needs, and so you become kind of greedy. And so here, actually, the present belongs to this person, but the crocodile or the shark steals it. If you have this tendency, give yourself a high score. And so you can see in this air personality heart, you actually can sacrifice, but you also want recognition. You want something out of it. And so here you come to the hypocrite. And so actually this, one side you live with hope, one side is deceive, one side, so you're both sides. If you have this, then give yourself a high score. If you don't, 0. Then here you balance what's right and what is wrong. The acrobat, you have clear vision of what should be done and what should not be done. And here is vanity. So here you whatever you're doing for others, you also want to make yourself look good. And so this again, the selfish side of the heart. Here you're selfish. So again, selfishness from the other side. And the last one is sadness, and emptiness. You sacrifice, you do everything, but you don't feel totally fulfilled, and you feel still something is missing and lacking. Okay, so here you should have 12 emotions, and you don't need to multiply. Okay, so we just use this number 12. So add up these 12 figures and just mark in your chart. So you have 0 to 50. Are you getting a picture already, Emmy? Which way are you high? You're high on your heart or high on the fire, personality, or?
High water.
High in your water. And your independence. Mm-hmm. How about the third one? The third column.
So it was fire, right?
Yeah, fire person. The way I know you, that should not affect you so much. But maybe I don't know you very well. So, actually to do this self-assessment, it is better somebody else assesses you than you assess yourself. Sometimes we can really confuse ourselves very much with this kind of analysis. But anyway, it is also fun, and it's a good way to review again all these propensities. And so we are going now to the space layer of our person, so the cosmic identity, okay? And actually I will go here a little bit faster because this is all kind of, anyway, I will see. The first one is awe. Do you experience feelings of awe? And do you feel overwhelmed by the beauty of this whole universe, this whole cosmos? And so maybe you see a flower and you totally fall in love with the flower, or you see a bird flying in the sunset and it takes you to a different emotion. And if you have this kind of tendency to see beauty and transcendental beauty in the world, then give yourself a high score. Okay, I put here, this is actually, in the yoga philosophy, is Kundalini rising. And so you go actually into some state of samadhi. But you have to understand, okay, that this I adjusted for teenagers, so it is for psychology. The transformer. So here you have this hand sticking out from the sky affects the world. So can you touch others and help these people transform? And so I know some of you may be yoga teachers, maybe others are English teachers, but do you feel you have the ability that the people who come to you, they develop in a new way? And so this is the transformation and the ability to inspire people for a different way of living. And it doesn't mean the whole world. It maybe it's just one person, two people, or a small group. Okay. Give yourself a score. The next one is, do you feel you are gifted in a unique way? And maybe as a musician, or maybe as a singer, or maybe as a dancer, or maybe just gifted in other ways. And genius. Give yourself a score. The next one is the cosmic sound, so the universe. Do you experience in your life, do you experience sometimes oneness with the cosmos? Do you, or at least do you feel connected to the universe? Or do you feel closed up in your own small world? And can you open up in your own mind to the cosmos? The next one is the whisperer. And so here, do you feel you can connect with nature or with cosmic forces? And so maybe here I put the psychic. So here the whisperer can understand the language of animals, or understand the thoughts of trees, or can feel the energies of the earth. And there's a psychic ability. Give yourself a score. It means, and last week we talked about intuition, and here this is another level, a higher level of intuition. And here the next one is clairvoyance. Means you have certain ability to see the future, and you can plan with that in mind. And you have the future there's the future vision is there. Give yourself a score. Here is welfare in the subtle sphere. Means here you can inspire thoughts, higher thoughts in the people around you. And I call this the philosopher, but actually it's not just intellectual, it's also emotional. And so people who come in touch with you, do you feel they become uplifted? And do they become touched, and inner touched? So here is the visionary, and so you have a vision, let's say for a company or for a business or for ideas, and you bring can express this in the society. And so this is especially for mundane knowledge. So here it's more like Steve Jobs, and he created this Apple computer business, or Bill Gates, they made this Microsoft. And so there are people who have this extraordinary ability to see something that others don't see and actually make it happen. Give yourself a score for that, okay? Next one is noble actions and doing some swaha. So here means you bring joy and benefit to others. You're a healer. Do you feel you have this kind of cosmic ability or not? Give yourself a score. Here is you want to let go of everything in your life and you just can totally surrender. It doesn't mean that you don't care for your family, okay? But when you do your meditation, you can, in that period, you can surrender totally to your practice. And you are totally in the moment and connected to your deepest goal. And this is the surrender we talk about here. I call it a clown. In Western culture, the clown is somebody who is outside the values of the society, who has let go of all attachments, and here it can fly away. The next, give yourself a score, okay? If you have the feeling that you can have this ability to surrender deeply. Here, the next one is, I put the ascetic. In Sanskrit, it's called visa, repulsive expression. Ascetic means a person who puts very high demands on his own discipline and maybe reduce the sleep, reduce his food, spend much time on his personal practice, and has much control over his own behavior, human needs. And he doesn't want to connect with anybody who has lower standards. And so this person is kind of maybe, a little bit out of the world, upside down. And that's why the picture is there. Here is the blissful one, sweet expression. So here is do you feel that you have this quality that your sweetness brings joy and happiness to others? And if you have this quality, give yourself a high score. Here it is unique. Do you feel you are doing things other people are not doing? You're kind of outside the box person. And so other people, they follow certain norms and traditions, and actually you are kind of different. You have your own path and you have your own approach and you do the things your way. You are unique. Give yourself a score, okay? And so if you are very much within the social norms, give yourself a low score. And like the other day in yoga class, my yoga student, when I stopped counting, she stopped doing the pose. So and I saw if I don't tell them to keep going, she will not keep going. And so many people, especially in Asia, are trained to follow. In this quality, you are unique. You follow only your own inner inspirations. The next one is the dancer. So here it is a life of grace and beauty, and to see the miracle in each and every small moment and be thankful for that and flow with that. So the picture is I feel very interesting, and the world is sharp. Not everything is around, but the person dances through the world very gracefully. And so whatever happens in life, the person can manage and handle and deal with it very well. Give yourself a score. The artist, and so here it is actually the musician. Very interesting. The violin is a fish, so can make music and beauty out of anything. And the last one is the magician. And can you, this actually, the creative energy, can you elevate and make things and shape things? And it can be different things. It can be a beautiful house, a beautiful home, beautiful food. It can also be, you always feel you have inspiration for poems or for songs or for stories or for paintings or for your work. And always creative flow is very strong. This is this one. Give yourself a score. I give you very little time, but I think maybe short and sweet is also nice. And so add up your score and then multiply by 0.75. 0.75. So this is the space aspect of our personality, the cosmic side. And so we have done the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the space. And now it becomes more simple. This is one we did today, is the mind. So we have two. And so we have worldly knowledge and spiritual knowledge. So worldly knowledge here means the king. And actually I didn't mention to you, but every time you have these fairy tales, at the end of the fairy tale, the princess becomes the queen and the prince becomes the king. Okay? So these fairy tales, they have this whole psychological development out of impulsive behavior, out of this family. And many of these stories, they start with a broken family. And Snow White, she has to leave the family. Cinderella has a stepmother and she has to leave the family. So everybody breaks out of these family links, and then they have to find their independence. Now like Snow White, she couldn't find her purpose. She stayed with the dwarves. She was helping them, cleaning the house, cooking for them, and whatever. And so she was helping. And then finally, there comes the prince, and she finds her identity as the princess or the queen. And so the stories, many of these stories, they go through this whole sequence of emotions and end up with achievement, as accomplished, can say, as in a way, a realized person. Okay, so a leader who can take responsibility not only for him or herself, but also for others. And so that is the concept of this layer of the mind, the king or the queen. And so I would put a bird, but anyway, because it looks so proud and so confident. That's also a good picture for this. Anyway, and then the sage. Now the sage is the person who actually doesn't need anything from the world anymore and directs all the mental energy only towards the pure self. And so here is a person sitting, touching the light, the light of the sun. And so give yourself a score, and that's only 2. And do you feel you are already self-realized, means you're free from many of the lower emotions? Or do you feel you are, so you mean you're free to be a proper leader? And do you feel you are already able to let go of all attachment, like King Janaka? He is the leader of his country, and yet he can be without attachment to his country. Okay, so give yourself a score for both, add it up, and multiply by 6, and add it to your chart. So now I'm very curious to see how your chart what your chart looks like. And so you have entered all the numbers in the chart, and yeah, I'd like to hear from you. What is your realization from this exercise? Anybody who was able to do this?
Hello, Mr.
Hi.
Space layer plus multiple 0.775
Yeah.
and heart 1.2.
No. Let me repeat, okay? Start from the first one. The first one you multiply by 3. So you get 12, okay? The second one you multiply by 2, so you also get 12. The third one you multiply by 1.2, so you also get 12. Now the heart is already 12, so that is, you don't need to multiply. Or if you want, you can multiply by 1, you get 12. Then you get the space, because there are 16, and you want to get to the average of 12, so 0.75. So you multiply by 0.75.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. And then you should get all numbers below 50, okay? And then the last one is, we have 2 qualities, so we multiply by 6. Was anybody able to actually make a chart out of this? Didi Ananda Suveda.
I'm very slow.
Don't tell me you couldn't keep up. I was very slow too.
I just try to figure out which emotion, which breathing is. Anyway, I will do it slowly. Take my own my own time.
How about Kalyani? Kalyani, did you manage to do the chart? Kalyani is very efficient. I have hope on her.
Do you mean that you fill in the bottom row? Is that why is it there are so many rows? I don't understand. You know, you have 0, 5, 10, 15. What is that?
No, that is your
Score.
your score. Yeah.
Oh, I see. No, I didn't do the chart. Sorry, I didn't understand what is it.
Kalyani, you
are
are the most qualified person to do this. You are so organized and always so structured. Anyway, you can try it like Didi in her own time.
Also, if you are like 8, then where do you put it? If your score is 8, where do you put it? Between 5 and 10?
Yeah, then you put between 5 and 10.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh. All right. Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay, it's okay. Now, Chitra ji, Chitra, how about you? Chitra disappeared. All right, so maybe you can share it in the group. How about Vivian?
I can share it. I can share it,
Oh, really?
Dr. Mohan. Yeah.
Thank you, Lalita.
Um, yes,
Even
I
though you came
follow.
in late, actually.
Yes, I was joined later in the program, so I did follow the whole classes of yours. But um, I feel like this exercise is interesting to analyze ourselves. So I follow and then I multiply and I got the score and put in the chart. And how to say, my lowest column is the water element, and
Ah,
my highest column is the earth element, and which is surprised me, you know. And then the air and the space get equal, and then the pure mind gets a little bit higher than the air and the space. Yeah. So
actually, Lalita, the
yes.
earth aspect is actually we could leave it out because it doesn't really
Okay.
reflect because you have all four aspects of your personality there. So when you add
Yes.
all this, it doesn't show anything. So don't look at the first column, but
All right.
the second column means you are already quite independent, free from your social feedback, and you already focus very much on your service and your spirituality.
Okay. So if I scribble quickly in on the paper so I can show you. So my chart is something like this. You
Oh
see
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a
yeah. So
staircase.
from the water, yeah, this is like the staircase.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, that is what I would expect from people who are online here. Yeah, thank you, Lalita. Glad
Thank you.
got something out of it. Anyway, this is we do it ourselves, and I think we are not surprised, most of us. But sometimes, for example, like Emmy, she mentioned that okay, the water aspects affect her, and so um, we can see what we have to overcome. Now, if you, Vivian, you want to share something?
Teacher Tam, I have already sent in the
Uh,
group. I've shared.
I'm not that efficient also. I got it. I got it. Oh, okay. So you use dots. Okay, so your water personality is low, and then so you means you already you don't get affected too much by your environment, and you're stronger on the heart and the space. Hmm. Very interesting. It is not completely a staircase, but it's close to a small staircase.
I have a question. For the fire, if we, because I put down very low, meaning that I don't become that, I don't become that. So I think, is it when you don't, you're not depressed, you're not affected, is it a low score or a high score? A
Low
low score.
score. Low score.
So do you mean that if you are not affected, you should have a low score for fire?
That is the thing. Some of these qualities they have opposite meanings. But the main thing is, does the emotion affect you or not? So if you have, when you become sad, does it affect you deeply? Or if you become fearful, does it affect you? So it shows the level of the emotional turbulence.
So if you are not affected, you put a low score. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's
Okay.
it. That's the main point. And I think that is what you can take away from this practice, that you can see where you need some more maybe focus of your asanas, or maybe focus of your uh, uh, like if your third chakra means the fire person, fire aspect of the fire emotions. If they affect you more, then maybe follow more jama niyama and try to transform uh,
Okay.
how we look at our own actions. And for example, if the emotion means the on the water personality is high, then we would what according to the system we introduce here is send love to everybody. And so send love to others, send love to yourself, to absorb this universal love more deeply, so you don't rely whatever other people say. I think this is the main purpose of this exercise. And so, for example, for Emmy's case, who is on the WeChat group, I was a little bit surprised that she gets affected more.
Maybe I calculated wrong.
What did you do? What happened?
Maybe tomorrow I will listen to this video again. I think I made some mistakes.
Okay, never mind. So but I was surprised because the way I know you, you are not like that also. Yeah. All right. So it's very nice, and I'm thankful you got something. And so keep in mind, and we have 7 treasures, and next week we will talk about the 7th treasure. The first treasure was self-knowledge. Now, actually, in this test, it doesn't help you very much. But for the water person, if your level, you feel you're higher on the water, so means you get easily disturbed by your environment, practice more love in your life. The third one, if you feel your fire person is easily unbalanced, then work more with the values and next week and the last class I want to focus only jama niyama. Okay, so we are coming to that because I think that's important for you to give this program to others. Now, and if you are high on the heart and I think move forward to your spiritual qualities means live with hope, but in the heart there are also many other qualities that affect, and we have to move beyond the heart. And this is maybe something that surprises many of you, but all of us who know relationships and who live in families and people close to us, we all know that, heart is very important, but we have to go deeper because there is a lot of complexity there. And so we want, if we are already troubled by the heart, we would move more deeply into the aspect of the cosmic qualities. And that is where we can find peace. Yeah. Very nice. This yoga psychology, I feel, is very practical and connects to our asana practice, our diet. It connects to our meditation, breathing. Yeah. So this is very nice. Yeah. I think for today we have done already enough, and some of you have more other classes. So thank you very much for joining.